Welcome to The Balancing Act. I'm your host, Renee, and today we have Saffron.
Hello.
So just to start us off, Saffron, first question. If you could refer yourself in 3 words, what would it be?
Refer to myself in 3 words?
Yeah.
Probably resilient, productive, hardworking.
Why did you choose those 3?
Resilient, because I feel like that's what most lawyers actually need, is resilience. So that's just me. I feel like I've gone through a lot of things in my life that I've had to be resilient at. And then hardworking, that's again the job that I'm in. Everything that I speak about myself is probably back to my job.
Okay.
To be honest, yeah.
Well, thank you for coming.
That's all right. Thank you for having me.
So
thank you.
Nice, plain and vanilla.
I love that they're playing because you know what? I don't really love cake.
Do you know what? A lot of people
that
have come on here has been all about red velvet.
Really? No.
So today I've had vanilla and a bit of change. So we're going to see a bit of change today.
Yeah.
Okay, so my second question, can you tell us about your role and what your journey into law looked like?
Okay, so at the moment, I'm a trainee solicitor. I started law in 6th form, so I did my A-levels. And do you know what? The only reason I did law was because I went to a really small 6th form, because I'm from Essex. So we didn't have... I wanted to do history, but I would be the only person in the class. So the 6th form said, no, basically, we're not doing that. So I had to do law. And then I found like I really loved it. I just excelled at it. And then I went and did my LLB in the University of Hertfordshire.
Okay.
That was okay. I'm not sure how I feel about the undergrad.
What happened?
Well, the process from, first of all, that uni is more party than anything else. But I feel like the mix between having to go from 6th form to undergrad is a lot. Like the LLB, having to be in 6th form where it's like school and teachers being on your back to then being somewhere where... they don't really care about what you're doing. It's all on you. So that was a big change. And then I went to, where did I go? City of London. Okay. And I did my LPC. Oh, okay. And then, I'm where I am at now. So
speaking about LPC, as they've changed it to SQE 1 and 2. Yeah. Which one do you think's better?
Out of LPC and SQE?
Yeah.
I would say LPC because I had the decision. I was that cusp where I could do either or. So I really looked into it and what would be best for me. I think number one, it's the way you work. Me personally, I would rather be examined all throughout the year with lots of different ones rather than in the SQE. Isn't it like 2 exams for 2.5 hours and you have to answer everything? That's what it is.
Do you know what? The only reason why I was like kind of drawn to SQE is the fact that you don't need to get a training contract. You can just do 2 years qualifying work experience and you can go into like a firm. But then when I looked at the LPC, it's because it's been around and there's been a lot of scandal with the SQE. Like, they fell a lot of people to find out they passed and all those people lost their job. Yeah. So it's crazy.
It's definitely difficult. I think for me, it just would have stressed me out. Having to learn everything off the whole syllabus and then have to deal with it all in a multiple choice would just stress me out. I'd rather learn business and then forget about business kind of thing. Learn family and then forget about family rather than have to deal with it all at the same time.
Yeah, because...
And then the qualifying work experience, I think what they don't tell you is that, yes, it's really hard to get a training contract, but the qualifying work experience, it is hard to get as well because you have to, an employer has to like you. It's the same thing as a training contract. It's just not called a training contract. Yeah.
Okay. So have you faced any challenges in the workplace, struggles, or even imposter syndrome? And how did you overcome them?
I wouldn't say I've ever struggled with imposter syndrome. I mean, I'm quite lucky in the firm I work for. It's a high street firm. And my supervisor, like the principal there, she's just very accommodating. She very much understands me. So no, I wouldn't say work challenges, maybe more challenges in understanding the legal world, yes, but in work, no, not really.
So like what challenges in the legal world would you say are there?
I feel like it's one of those professions where if you don't know somebody in that profession, it's very, very hard to get into. And I think I found it very hard just understanding what route I was supposed to do. I didn't know that it was the LPC that I had to do. I didn't know that I had to get a training contract. Even in my training contract now, I didn't know that I have to do, what's it called? professional skills course. So
yeah, I think I've seen that.
Yeah, so I'm having to do that now, and I only found out I had to do that about a year ago. So I think just not knowing and there not being enough resources, I think when you don't know someone, like a lot of lawyers, their like cousin's a lawyer or their dad's a lawyer, or it's kind of hard to get into.
So do you feel like your uni didn't prepare you for? Do you think you wasn't prepared well enough?
For the working world, yeah, because I think your LLB is okay. So you read the books, you know the textbooks, you know the case law, you know the statute, but you don't know how to apply statute into real life, because no lay person wants to basically listen to you give advice on legal jargon that they don't understand. So then you leave uni with all the great things from the textbook, but you don't know how to advise a client. So in that sense, no, I don't think I was properly prepared, I think. But then I don't know if uni really can prepare that for you.
But did you ever have the opportunities to access the law clinic, or was it promoted to you a lot about doing it in uni?
We had like a pro bono. You mean like the pro bono clinics? We did have that, but it's hard to balance everything because the LLB is there's so much on you that when do you find the spare time to just pop down to the law clinic?
Was you working part-time at the time as well? Okay, exactly. Because I had that struggle. My first year, I worked in the law clinic. I was quite good. It was quite helpful. And I've used those skills because I realised that when you're working in those professions, you got to be very unbiased. And it's very hard because you're going to be dealing with heinous crimes and you still have to represent that person. You can't not represent them for those reasons because everyone's innocent to proven guilty, etc., etc. But I feel like because I had to work part-time and because I had to study and I was working in London as well, I didn't have the time to do my readings, to go to my law clinic work. So essentially it's very like,
well, go you for even getting involved in it, because I didn't even
that's why I picked my uni.
Any of them. So
that's why I picked my uni, because they were quite like the person, the head of the law clinic, he was talking to me and he said to me, do you read a book? I was like, no, I don't read. He's like, you need to pick up a book and read. And I say that on my TikTok, I pick up a book and read. Because
so
you do your readings, but he said it helps with your vocabulary. You're going to be talking to people. So you need to, so I learned those skills. If I didn't do the law clinic in my first year, even though it was hard, I was stressed. If I didn't have that experience, I wouldn't,
be how you are now.
Did you do any work experience as well during that time?
Did I do work experience? I had the pro bono clinic once, but that was just on their initial day to see if it was something that I wanted to do. And then I thought, I've got part-time work, I've got to do this. I don't really have the time to do it. I'm trying to think, did I do any other experience? I don't think I did. I think I've always just been in a job. I probably made it harder for myself by not engaging in enough experience, because it makes life easier.
But it's hard though, like working part-time. You got your secure part-time job. Then you're going to go and find work experience. Then you got the application process. Alone.
Exactly.
I said to someone, I prefer to apply for any other work experience in any other field apart from law, because law,
the application process will be about 200 pages long. They want you to do a test on this, and then they ask you the most obscure things like, what would you do if you was an animal? I got that in interview so much. What would you do if you was an animal? And I think to myself, but I'm not an animal. Or why, those questions as well, like, why do you want the job? And it's like,
I want the job for the experience, but you can't say that. Or I want the job for the money.
I want the job because I want a job.
But you can't say that.
I want the job because I want a job. I need a job.
But do you know what as well? The Watson Glaser test. That's my biggest pet peeve.
Yeah. I never had to do that.
I had one firm, and I saw someone talking about LinkedIn. LinkedIn, everyone puts
LinkedIn has the T, has the legal T.
No, but some people share so much on LinkedIn. Like when you're in uni, you want to, all the time. I don't really update my LinkedIn, but I should.
Yeah.
But he was like putting everything his step by step, and I remembered what he said, and it was helpful. It was very helpful. But I was just like, what's in Glaser? Never.
Yeah.
I recommended it to my cousin. I said, listen, practice that. You want to do law? Practice this test. This is the only way. It's all about practice.
It is, for sure, definitely.
But I don't have to, there's no time to practice.
There's no time. You just have to keep rolling with it. You honestly just have to keep a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of leaving the office late, getting into the office early.
I think law, like studying law, and I say to people, studying law is so hard.
It is.
It's like a full-time job.
Mm-hmm. It is a full-time job. And your job, you know, where was I? I was at a networking event the other day, and one of the barristers was saying that being a solicitor or a lawyer, that never ends for you. Yeah. So like when it's the weekends, when it's after work, I'm still a solicitor regardless. You don't just go home and check out and everything's all right. So yeah, it's a full-time job. It's a lifestyle. It's more of a lifestyle.
I feel like you have to constantly be up to date with what's going on with the law changes.
Mm-hmm.
Listening to this podcast and that podcast and reading this newspaper and just like you're constantly have to be on the point. It's not just after the degree and after all of the work that you do, it's just it. Yeah. There's so much that goes into it. And it's a rewarding career.
It is, but it's difficult. It definitely is difficult.
Especially when you have difficult clients and it's just...
The difficult clients are you just have to learn how to manage them.
We'll get onto some of your stories.
You know I've got some difficult clients.
I can imagine it because people think that because you can't be a certain way, like you can't be yourself. Like if it was like you were standing in the supermarket and someone's being rude to you, you can be like, don't talk to me like that. But when you're in a professional setting, you gotta...
But you know what? You have to give yourself... I think the more you get into your job, you know how to say things in a professional way without actually saying, don't speak to me like that. But I will say, don't speak to me like that, but just not in those words.
I feel like with me, I do this thing where if someone's rude to me, because I've worked in McDonald's like years. I always mention it because McDonald's was character building.
Yeah, character.
It was so
I had nanos, don't worry.
It was so traumatic for me. But what I would do is I realised that I can't say, don't talk to me like that. I'd be like, please don't talk to me like that. It's not nice. You're making me upset. That's the line that I use all the time. But it's quite cut. It's not anything. I'd be like, please don't talk to me like that. I'm not speaking to you like that. I don't really like that.
Yeah, I use the... You got
to be like sometimes, and then they check their behaviour. Sometimes they may get worse, or I'll just walk away from the situation. Yeah. But I feel like, I feel. Or
ask someone to repeat themselves. I do that all the time. Someone says something rude to me, or something a bit. I'm like, oh, could you repeat yourself? Because then when I've now got you to say it again, you're like, oh. I didn't mean... do you know what I mean? It creates that awkward tension where it's like, oh yeah, now you know what you did kind of thing, yeah.
So what career would you choose if you weren't in law?
What career would I choose? I'd probably be a vet.
A vet?
I'd probably be a vet. If I wasn't either athletics, like a runner, or I'd be a vet. Yeah.
A vet?
I don't know, I just love animals. I love animals.
But there's a love in animals, and then when you have to wash them, especially the cat.
Yeah, I'd be fine.
Have you seen the cat bags?
I mean, no, but I'd be fine. I love animals. Like my dream is probably to have like loads of animals. Probably to have land with loads of animals.
Do you have any animals?
Yeah, I have 2 dogs.
Okay. What are they? What dogs do you have?
I've got an XL bully. Okay. Love her.
What's her name?
And Mia.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want her full name?
Mia. Yeah, go on.
Mia, Milo, Molly, Millie.
What? How old is she when you got that dog?
How old was I?
Yeah.
Maybe like 20.
Okay, do you know what? I would have said, you know, as a child,
but she's delicious. That's why her name, because it goes, Mia, Milo, Molly, Millie. If you take all the M's, it's
So what did your family say when you chose that name?
They just roll with it. That's just how we go.
I don't believe you.
No, I think
I don't believe you.
That's how it goes. It's
if any of our family is watching this, please comment and tell us what you said, because I don't believe this.
You have to believe it. That's just the way my family rolls.
Okay, so what's the name of your other dog?
His name's Max.
Max what?
Maximus King.
I mean, what? Max? No, because
you know Maximus King.
Do you know what? Yeah, when I hear the name Max, I think of Max. Where does Maximus King come from? Where does the name Maximus come from?
Because it just gives Maximus vibes.
But it was on a TV program. Someone was called Maximus.
Maximus, I think so. You know, because I feel like my mum had something to do with that. But he's Maximus King because he's just king. He's a king.
Do you know? To be honest, when I was younger, I had a hamster. I named my hamster Anna Melissa.
Anna Melissa.
Wait. So I heard it from a song, and I thought, okay, don't judge my singing. But the song went Anna Melissa, here you go, but it wasn't. I found that years later, it was Lisa Mafia.
Okay, so you just completely...
I thought it was
missed the point.
But you got to remember, I was like 5. I was like 5, 6 years old, okay? And I was like, where's the song Adam and Lisa, Here You Go? I was thinking, I was singing it. And then I found out the other day, I was listening to one of Lisa Mafia's songs.
And it wasn't that?
It was Lisa Mafia.
Oh, okay.
Or something like that.
So your hamster was basically named for with no reason.
And then I had a cat called Shadow. I didn't name the cat Shadow. Basically, I got it from my cousins.
Yeah.
How I got my cat, let's just say it wasn't my fault. So I moved into a new built property.
Yeah.
We had a mice issue.
Okay.
I woke up to a mouse running over my face.
Running over your face.
So I was like, it running over my face and it jumped. And then I have like a little, it's like a wooden little balcony. So it's not a balcony, but it's like in front of the mirror. I mean, the window.
Yeah.
So I looked up. I looked at my bed and I see it looking at me like this. I said, so I was sleeping. I was like this. And I was like,
confused.
I was like, it's screaming. I said, Mommy! My mum was like, what? I said, hello, Mommy.
No.
So we turned up the house upside down now. We found the mouse. The mouse was there. It was like dead. I decided to spray some kind of mouse. To this day, I don't know where the mouse ended up. I don't know where it ended up because the foundation hadn't set properly in the house, it was attracting rodents. So they were climbing for it. So everyone had it. Yeah. Everyone had the mice coming. My mum was sitting downstairs in the kitchen and she saw a mouse. We don't have that issue now. Wow. It's gone. It's all gone because they fixed it. I didn't know
that was a thing with new build.
Here's the thing. Don't get a new build.
Yeah, leave the new builds out.
Leave the new builds. We have foxes as well because they managed to burrow underneath where it's a whole madness that's happened. I even fell down and slipped. We all slip. Anyway, so we got a cat from my little cousins and they named the cat Shadow. It was black, but I believe it was brown. He was brown and he was my best friend. I miss him. Because one day he disappeared and there was foxes. I think the foxes got him. Like... That was a ending. Yeah, I don't know because one time he got a bite on his tail and we knew I had to like clean it with salt water, but I had to hold him down and he didn't like it obviously. And then my mum made me do all the vet visits. So he knew when he was going to the vet. Yeah. And he just disappeared and he wouldn't come home. So but prior to that, I believe my cat was a cat gang leader. Like he had all the cats waiting outside our house.
He had all the cats driven away.
My mum had beef with the cats. My mum has a water gun
around basically. Your
they all would wait for him. He would be fighting outside. My neighbour would send me videos of him fighting other cats. But when he comes into the house, he will run away from me.
He did the double life thing.
He will run away from me. Like he brought a mouse into the house. And my mum and my auntie spooked him and they were like, come and get rid of the mouse, like move it. Yeah. And then he refused and he hid and they had to go and do it. And my mum had to throw away her back and stop because he put the mouse on the back and stop. And then there's another time I caught him with one of the mouse. He obviously was dying and he would run away and he would hit it and he would just watch it and just be hitting it. So he was an active member. So I understand.
He's a gang member.
He was a gang member. He was a gang member. And then all of a sudden when he disappeared, all the cats disappeared and he was vicious.
Maybe they followed your cat.
I don't know. He got stuck one day and I don't know where he went. But I do miss him. I want another pet. But my mum said, I know, my mum said no because when we want to go on holiday, he's going to look after the cat. So she made a good point.
It's a fair point.
She did make a point.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
There's no way putting him in the kennels sort of thing.
And I don't like them places anyways.
No, there's no one. There's no one to
look after.
Look after the cat. And cats are very independent. But I want a dog. I want a grey dog and name it Cash. Okay,
you're very particular. So why
Cash? I met Cash a couple of years ago.
Okay.
My friend had Cash, but Cash was wasn't an alright dog. Okay. But I saw the dog and I can't remember what she named it and I named it Cash. I said, when I see the dog's name's Cash and then she gave Cash away, so.
Oh. It's a lot of traumatic ends.
I know. I had goldfish. They went.
How did you find the hamster life though? Because my hamsters was crazy. I had 2 hamsters and my mum was
hamster bit me.
Yeah, I had Miley. I had a girl. She bit me.
Smiley Miley.
She used to no, that was Chester. Chester was my first hamster. He used to, so basically...
Are you naming all these animals?
Yeah, this is all me, babe. Like,
so what about your siblings? What about your family? What were they saying?
No, but my sisters are older, so all these Chester and Miley were mine. They were fully mine. I didn't have to negotiate on the name, and they loved it. I'm not sure why I chose Chester, but all I know is that he used to swing on my curtains at night time.
What? Wait, what?
Yeah, so I saved up all my pocket money and I got one of those, you know those cages with the tubes on the top?
Yeah.
So I saved up, but he was a fat hamster.
Oh my God.
So he used to sit like in the tube and like wiggle around. Then he would get out and then he would like swing on my curtains at night time. So I'd have to like get him. I just see him swinging around. So then I got Miley and I called her Miley because I thought like, I don't know, at the time Miley Cyrus Wrecking Ball came out. So that was...
Okay, this is all recent. I'm thinking Miley Hannah Montana.
I mean, it could have had a part to play because I was Hannah Montana obsessed.
So where did Wrecking Ball... Okay,
do you know my mind? It just runs in different places.
My story of naming my hamster Anna Melissa makes sense.
I mean, it makes
sense as a 5-6-year-old.
As a 5-6-year-old, but
Miley because of Wrecking Ball, not because of Hannah Montana.
I mean...
And in Chester.
Yeah, Chester. I don't know where Chester came from. I actually don't know.
I'm telling you, it was on the TV program.
Was it?
Yeah, there was a child called Chester. There was a Chester.
Probably.
Because the TV programs that we used to watch were very unmatched.
Yeah. Well, they were the best.
They were the best.
They were the best.
Horrible Histories was the best.
Horrible Histories, I love.
That's how I knew about Henry VIII and his many wives and how I remember them.
Horrible Histories.
Oh, I liked it.
Boom.
And then having to run home from school and then, watching it.
Watch it. Oh. Did you watch Horrid Henry?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
My grandma was bopping to Horrid Henry.
Really? I loved Horrid Henry as well. I loved all of them shows.
I love Tracy Beaker.
Tracy Beaker slapped.
Tracy Beaker. I'm not going to go into detail, but let's just say I thought I was Tracy Beaker. I decided to do something like what Tracy Beaker would do to my mum.
Like, okay, which because she done a lot of
just said, I was just singing, I'm not going to go into details, but just know, I was singing Beaker, when there's a Beaker Club, I was singing Beaker Club.
Okay.
And then I just decided, because my mum upset me, and I thought, yeah, okay, I'm going to get you back like what Tracy Beaker would do. And let's just say, I got in trouble. That's all we need to talk about.
Yeah,
but Tracy Beaker encouraged my bad behaviour.
Yeah, she was
to a certain degree.
A bad influence.
Bogger.
Yeah.
And did she say talk to that? Did she say talk to the hand?
Was that her? Or
someone said talk to the hand.
Was it Justine who was the other girl?
Justine Littlewood.
Justine Littlewood. That was it.
What's the other girl? The little girl. Justine Littlewood's sidekick. Oh, I know her name. It's not an Abby. Not Justine. I said Justine. What's her name?
Justine Littlewood.
It was the blonde hair girl.
It's annoying that I can't remember. This is nostalgic though.
It is nostalgic.
Can't lie. It's bringing me back.
I do miss Tracy Beaker. What was her name?
I'm not going to act like I've got the name on the tip of my tongue because I
can't remember her name.
But
I remember Duke. I saw him perform in a pantomime.
Did you?
Yeah.
Aww.
Oh, I can't remember her name. I can't remember.
It might come to us. It might come to us.
It wasn't just. I don't know. But anyway, let's go to the next question because we went off into a little tangent. But so, what's the funniest or most bizarre legal case you've ever come across?
Oh gosh. I mean, I've got so many. Okay. I don't know about funny, but bizarre. So this is not even my case. Can I tell a case that's not even mine?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so this was a networking event and someone told me that there was twins and that both the twins had slept with the same woman.
Oh my gosh.
They say that it was in a 6-month period. So there's this whole massive, like, over £100,000 case, like, in legal representatives and stuff. And the boiled down to that you can't find out who's the dad because twins actually don't, like, have separate genetics.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
I thought that there would be something that would...
Were they identical twins?
Identical twins.
Yeah, because there was a case, I don't know which country it was, but it was a case, I remember. And someone committed the murder and they couldn't figure out which twin it was, but the test to figure it out cost a lot.
It's 90,000.
Yeah, so they don't want... Who wants to spend that money just to find...
Exactly.
One criminal.
And so that's what's going on. And then obviously they've got kids. So the woman has a kid with the first twin. And then her story is that 6 months later, she slept with the second twin. But the judge believes that she slept with the second twin within like a 48-hour window.
Why is she sleeping with the twins?
I don't know. And they're all deaf and they're all rich. Apart from the twins are rich, but they're all deaf. So it's like, it's a crazy scenario. So they can't really, it's like something's going on between them, but the legal reps can't really work out what's going on. So what, is it
a divorce case or is it?
It's almost like child arrangements because they both want to be the dad of this new child. But because the dad of the first twin, that's called twin A, has the son, he wants to also be the dad of the daughter, which is the second child.
So basically...
But twin B's like, no, you slept with me and that matches up, so... But she's been running them both against each other, yeah. But they can't find out who the dad is. So now it's basically boiled down to who does the daughter want her dad to be. That's what it's boiled down to.
I think we need Jeremy Kyle
back. We need Jezza back. We need Jezza back ASAP. Kyle, yeah? Because he will be able to sort that out in a swiffy.
We need Jeremy Kyle. We need Jerry Springer already.
I used to love Jerry Springer. Jerry.
Like, do you know which ones got me the most, yeah? Is the ones where they were like, I've got something to tell you. I was born a man.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, wait, how did you not know?
I think those ones are just silly. How did you know all this time?
I was like, and then they start fighting and they take off. I'm just like,
but didn't they cut Jeremy Kyle because
some lies or something? He was fabricating. I don't know. He did something.
Really?
They said that the lie detector test wasn't real. What he was doing.
Really?
And someone killed themselves over it.
Yeah, someone killed themselves over it. That's what I heard about
and
it.
And he said he didn't do it. But he said he didn't cheat. And the lie detector test said he did. But he said he didn't.
Wow, that's just messy.
So
that's just so messy.
I have zero clue. But
yeah, so that was a weird case. That was like...
And what's another one?
Another one. I've got no funny ones because I don't think probably any case I do is funny. Weird. Maybe.
Oh, some that you've heard of. I'm sure there's been stories that other people speak about it.
What, that are bizarre though?
Yeah, bizarre, weird.
Bizarre.
Funny.
I've had, like, for instance, people have children with their children.
Sweet Home Alabama?
Yeah, well, yeah. Silence.
Because
children, yeah, that happens, you know. You know this sort of stuff happens. Like,
no. I just think it happens in America.
No. That stuff does happen here, like, on your doorstep, probably.
But this thing, it doesn't get reported about. So
no, it doesn't make the news.
It doesn't make the news, but America, it will make the news in America.
Yeah, of course.
But it will never make the... I feel like over here, we're very selective of what we make the news. There was... What was it that I found out? There's like a few things that I've never... Someone told me one time that there was a serial killer at large. No, serial killer at large, that was one. And then there was this guy that was going around with a crossbow attacking people.
I heard about that.
And the day after the first incident, I went to Shoreditch.
Yeah.
And I said, hold on.
Yeah. Why would
I'm
they tell us?
walking around a bit tipsy, and there was a man with a crossbow. But there's things that I don't want to know about. For example, Stormzy losing his license or something. Something so dumb.
That would be on the news.
Why do I care?
Yeah, I need to know about the guy with a crossbow hidden in the bush waiting for me. And
I was like, but what if he got me?
I mean, there's no way out, unfortunately.
Like, a crossbow in the UK?
Yeah, it
only happens in America.
That's what you think. You think these things only happen in America, but they happen here. The things I've learned, and I would say in family law, the things that go on in people's families is just crazy.
But when you think of family law, like, in my opinion, not everyone else, my opinion, when I think of family law, I think of custody.
Yeah.
Disputes,
so you got care, yeah.
And not that. I didn't really think about, like, when kids are going into care, when social services get involved and all of that, and they have to go. I didn't think there was more to family law.
It's massive. It's divorce. It's two parents breaking up and not being able to come to a decision on what's going to happen with their kids. As you said, it's local authorities taking children away. There's a wide umbrella of family cases. Anything to do with family is obviously family law.
I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
Could you take, so you know, a lot of people on social media just talking about their baby dad's not paying child maintenance.
Yeah.
Can you take your baby dad to court for not paying child maintenance?
Do you know what? No.
You can't.
Yeah, so unless your baby dad is rich, like I'm talking maybe like £3,000 a week type of vibes, there's nothing in the court that they would give you money for that, because child maintenance service is separate for a reason. So we don't get involved in that. I have questions all the time about that, and I'm like, I can't get involved. But if he's rich and he's not giving you anything, then yes, we can take him to court and be like, you should be paying for your children. But child maintenance is bad anyways. Don't have kids for people that don't have money.
Yeah, child maintenance, right?
Standard, because child maintenance is not giving you a dime. Child maintenance might give you, I don't know, £200 a month.
Some people get like £2.50.
Yeah, some people get. Yeah, that's what I had a woman. She was like, I don't want his fiver. She was like, what? She was like, I don't want his fiver. I was like, just take the fiver.
And just put it into a savings account.
Put it into a savings. Yeah, but it is a bit rude, isn't it? Two people lay down, two people make a baby.
I think
so.
These are like, but sometimes I just feel like it's things that people don't think about.
What?
That child maintenance. I mean, like, how bad it is until they're in that situation. So, for example, I know someone, this girl when I was younger, when I was in school days, had a bunch of kids. So he told all of them, so whenever the baby mums went to go and get money off the man said, put me on child support. So if all of the baby mums put him on child support, all the kids got £1.
Yeah, they will get less.
So it was like, I mean, how the Americans do it, but to a certain degree, I wouldn't want it to be brought over here, because there's paternity fraud a lot. I swear in Jamaica, there's one place.
There is paternity fraud.
They call it jacket. I think there's a name for the place. There's a particular area where everyone is just, yeah. So I do understand, but it should be better.
It should definitely
be better. But what about the guy? Like, I know someone, I've heard the story of someone took their baby dad to court for not paying the child maintenance, took him in and out of court, getting him to pay child maintenance, finds out the child's not his after how many years later? Like, the child's like, what, maybe 15, 16?
Crazy.
Finds out all those years later, the child wasn't his. So it's just like...
That is just crazy.
But family law seems very complex and interesting.
It is complex. It is. You can literally build your whole career. Well, you can build your whole career out of anything, but I think family is vast enough that...
Is that what you're getting into, or is that just one of the seats you're doing?
It's one of the seats I'm doing, but it's where I have most of my cases right now. But I don't know. Maybe. I haven't made my set in stone decision on which area of law I want to be in. So,
how many seats have you had so far, and what seats are they in?
I've had conveyancing, so like buying and selling properties.
Okay.
I've had crime.
Okay.
Family. What else have I had? I think those are the main ones. Housing.
Oh, gosh. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've had housing. And I want to touch on immigration before I qualify fully.
When do you qualify?
September 1st, 2025.
Oh, did you? Oh, my God. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, wow.
It was like, honestly, a long road is now coming to an end.
How long was it? Wait, how long was it? 2 years? You've been in 2, 3 years?
What, of the training contract?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like...
Did you go straight into it after uni, or did you take a break?
I took a break.
What did you do in your break?
I started a lash business. So...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I just started doing eyelashes because I felt like I didn't want to carry the part-time job. I wanted time to just be able to manage myself and actually find a role that I wanted to be in.
Okay.
So I did that, and then I found the role, and then I still lash kind of on the weekends.
See, you need 6 to 7 forms of income to survive in the UK.
It's not just one.
You're not one. You cannot get where you need to get to
on one income.
On one's income and the salary. And the salary in the UK is a bit pants.
It is. And people that like know how to manage them. If you look at like a millionaire, they know how to manage their money well. It's not necessarily that
tight.
Yeah, but they know how to like make more money. You don't become rich by being in a job. You become rich by, for instance, being in a job that might give you money so that you can invest that money somewhere else. Because being in your job, you're working for somebody else.
See, look, it's the stability. So, for example, with me, I make cakes on the side.
And They look delicious.
Thank you. So I make cakes on the side. And everyone said, oh, why don't you do cakes full time? And I'm thinking, like, cakes is not, I'm not consistently getting an income.
Mm-hmm.
And my job is a guaranteed. If I don't get, if I go attend my shift, I'm getting that money.
Yeah.
My money is never going to go down.
Mm-hmm.
It's either going to go up or stay the same.
Exactly.
They can't change my contract and say you're getting less money hourly, but they can change my contract on the hours that I'm getting. But if I'm signing a 15-hour contract, if I'm signing a 0-hour contract, they can do whatever they want. But when you sign that contract, you're saying, I'm guaranteed those 15 hours, you're guaranteed those 15 hours.
Yeah.
So I always say to people, yeah, like some people are like, oh, I don't want to work for anyone, I don't want to work for anyone. But you need that exposure to certain, because how I deal with my cake business, and then when I see people complaining about the Instagram hairstylist, I'm just like, have you ever worked in customer service for you to know that sometimes I've had times where my cakes aren't looking good? I offer my client £20 off because I know my work don't look good, so why am I going to give her that? It looks okay, but I know my work didn't look good. I didn't feel comfortable with that. I took £20 off and I dropped her a free cheesecake during Christmas.
And I bet she was happy.
She is happy. She'll always come back because it's that, you know, like sometimes she'll order a 6 box of cupcakes, but I didn't have a 6 box. So I charged her for 6 and gave her a 12 box of cupcakes. But it's just like
small things
like that. It's not no skin off my nose sort of thing.
No, yeah. But it means everything to her. She will want to come back because you've done those things.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
It's the little things. It's the little, like, I have this girl, she's ordered cupcakes for me before. I purchased a wig from her. I went to go and collect my wig.
Balance.
And I gave her some cookies and stuff.
Yeah.
So, do you know, like, she's like, she knows who to go to for cakes and just, you know, those sort of things. So, like, tell me a bit about how you felt in each seat that you've had and...
like, in terms of whether I enjoyed it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, conveyancing was something I always wanted to do. And I feel like you get this, oh, yeah, I'm buying and selling properties. It's kind of real estate vibe, but it's not. It's kind of the trenches in England, I can't lie. So it's just the same. It's like you raise inquiries, you see the property, you exchange, you complete. It's the same for every single file. So it's not client focused at all. It's just the same. It's like corporate, basically. So I enjoyed it, but I don't know if I could just have a career just doing that. I kind of like talking to people. So yeah, family, I do enjoy, but I feel like it's made me... It's kind of changed me, I can't lie, like the way I view marriage, the way I view...
Oh, yeah. Prenups are essential.
They're essential, but you know they're like rarely ever enforceable. Do you know that?
Why?
There's so many, because they're enforceable, but there's so many different things. It's up to the court's discretion as to whether they're going to like uphold a prenup. So I could say anything. I could be like, yeah, we had a prenup in place, but I've had kids now, so things change.
No, but see, that's the thing about... I looked at a prenup and I said, you know what? I'm a planner. So
you plan that in there.
I've had the kids in there.
If we have kids,
you got
100%. Obviously, me in law and your in law, like, yeah, we'd make it so it's as strict as possible. But it just is a bit like marriage. I'm just like, Like, I love the idea. I love the whole, like, yeah, let's fall hopelessly in love. But when I see people who at one point must have been hopelessly in love to walk down the aisle and how they can treat each other afterwards, it just makes me feel like...
But I feel like going into marriage, a lot of people don't talk about certain things.
Yeah, there's not enough communication. That's the issue.
It's not a lot. Like, I remember I saw something somewhere that these people, they will get married, they hyped up to like book for the wedding plan and everything. When they finally got married, they saw each other for who they were, they broke up. Because they didn't have nothing in common. All they had in common was planning a wedding.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I think what I've done is I've used every single situation as a case study to say what I don't
like
want.
a real lawyer.
Yeah, like everything that you put yourself into. And this is, I say this to everyone. If you see someone talking about it, like there's a woman on TikTok that has a list of everything about childbirth.
Okay, yeah.
There's so many things I didn't know about childbirth until I was on TikTok. Yeah. I just think you just push child out everything.
And then it starts.
I didn't know about postpartum. I didn't know about preeclampsia. I didn't know about all of these things that you need to look at. And there's a midwife. I don't want to butcher her name, but Mama Dina.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she's always on TikTok.
Well, I think I've seen her.
So she's lovely, and she was just like, the reason why a lot of people go into labour and certain things, she was just talking about how you need to prepare yourself. Like she said, some of the women that come in, they've read the books.
Yeah.
She says she can tell who's gone to prenatal and who hasn't.
Yeah.
So there's just like, even like looking at divorce and stuff. Look, I will look at why someone got divorced. What is it?
Yeah, what was the reason behind it?
Yeah, like
people
what's
end
the
up
reason?
hating each other. People honestly end up hating each other because they lack communication or they don't understand each other's communication styles. You don't have to be the same, but to be able to respect how I communicate and how you communicate is the most important thing.
Yeah, I say that all the time. Like, I would just be like, you know what? Yeah. What I would do if I was in a relationship and had problems, I would have this thing where check-ins, like monthly check-ins, find out what, like an audit, like, you know, you're never
What's
going
going
to know
on
what's
kind
going
of
on. Like,
thing.
is there anything you want me to work on? Is there anything we should then work it on and do all of those goals together? But I just feel like some people just look to social media.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
relationship.
Yeah.
Marriage is hard.
Yeah, very. I don't know why people sugarcoat it. People are like, oh yeah, like I want to get married young and I'm like, that's great, but
Enjoy yourself.
enjoy.
Everyone, but you know what? Everyone that's got married, yeah, they say to people that are not married, enjoy being single.
Exactly.
And but they've heard it from someone else and they didn't get it. So now I understand why they're saying that.
People are hard of hearing.
They say enjoy being single.
People are hard of hearing because you see it happen. It's like, for instance, like I've got older sisters. If I see something that didn't particularly go well there, I'm not going to do it. That for me, being youngest, has saved me so much trials and tribulations because I'll see something in someone and be like, yeah, no. Or my standards will be so high because I'm like, no, that's not happening.
I think with law, like learning the law and thinking I'm never going to put myself in that situation, like equity and trust, I hate it.
Oh yeah, that's whack.
Equity and trust
I'm sorry if that's
is
what
like,
you're in, but
you got to explain, you got to do every single step. If you don't do one, I failed that.
Yeah. Did you find it difficult?
I did.
Yeah.
I found land law and equity and trust.
It's hard. It's all old fashioned. It's all long words.
I hated EU law.
Oh my gosh. And the lecturers, what sort of lecturer did you have in EU? Because they were always like,
had an accent.
And they talk so
really
much
fast.
that they gain the spit at the side of their mouth. You know, those type of lecturers. Yeah, that was EU. Yeah.
EU wasn't for the week, but guess what? I got a really good grade. I got a 2-1 in my assignment. I did it about affirmative action. Oh, no, not EU. I think it was public. One of the two, there was one. EU, I think I did quite okay with. I do well in coursework, and we didn't have in-person exams at the time. So
at all?
Oh, now I got in-person exams in my second year, and then now in my final year, I've got in-person exams.
So they started you off on like...
In my
final
year.
I didn't have in person. Mine was all online.
You're lucky.
Yeah, it was all coursework.
I've got, I'm doing, I say they're quite heavy. I'm doing data protection in person.
Okay. Are you like into that? Do you enjoy that?
It's all right. Do you know what? Did you know the UK doesn't actually have regulation on those things? Do you know where they got the regulation from?
Where?
The EU. When we was in the EU.
I mean, but that would make sense because we steal everything.
But that's the thing. So, because we was in the EU, was part of the EU, we had these rules.
Yeah.
So what they did, obviously Brexit did not work out for us.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I could have told you that before Brexit.
Do you know what it is? It really did it, like, seeing the law and knowing it and then having the law to back it up. Like, we don't have regulation on AI. So that's what my dissertation's about.
That's interesting, though.
We don't have regulation on AI. So it's not...
what will we do when the whole world is developing?
So now we're trying to catch up about it. So things are coming up that I'm going to put in my dissertation. Once it's done, I will post my dissertation.
Yeah, post it. I would love to see that.
Because it's very interesting, because I didn't know that a lot of these things, so we take from the EU, and obviously people think Great Britain is great, but we don't really have the biggest market. It's America and the EU, and America's more... Look at what Elon Musk is doing. So let's just, you know how America is.
Let's not bring in...
Not American slander, but I'm just saying the comparison of EU is more of a human rights approach. Yeah. So that's what my dissertation is arguing, that we need a bit more of an EU's human rights approach towards AI regulation. But a lot of our laws do come from the EU.
Yeah, because law really in general is not from scratch, though, is it? Really?
Yeah, no.
We just take from different places,
and it's like test and experience. Law's based on experience, like things that have happened before, then they just never updated. Like, I think some laws do need to be updated to fit what's going on.
Yeah, makes sense.
I feel like, it's just it's a sector. I think I really had fun, like even criminal law, breaking down of there has to be a test. If one thing's missed, that's not the crime.
It's not established.
Yeah, so it's just, I did not know that.
That's how people find loopholes, though.
Exactly.
So many loopholes.
Oh, I found some loopholes.
Yeah, so many.
I remember I did one of my assignments. I got 2-1 in that for criminal law.
Love.
And I told this girl that I did this. I can't remember what it was about, but I said, I did it this way. She said, oh, no, you're wrong. I got a 2-1 in that simply because a law is up into interpretation. If you're interpreting the law a certain way, you got to back what you're saying. And I backed it. So I got my 2-1. But it's just...
Yeah, as long as you can justify why you think what you think, you're fine.
It's up to the judge to say you're wrong.
Yeah.
But when you're proving and fighting your case, you got to do your A, B, C, D, P's and Q's and everything and think about what the other side is going to say.
That is the knack, literally thinking about what the other side's going to say.
Because so my uni started doing civil disputes resolution.
Okay.
So that's one module that I picked.
Yeah.
So that was really practical. And it was different from my normal modules because I did my reflection. I said it was so different to a normal module.
Yeah.
I did a written application to the court. What else did I do? I did a witness statement as well. So doing that, it actually put things in perspective. And it's like, we had to do some table thingy. And then they said the reason why they introduced it into my uni was because people are going to do the SQE. It comes up. No one's prepared for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like they don't really prepare her.
And the SQE is hard because it's new. So you don't really have a lot of past papers and stuff to fall back on.
Is that what you did, past papers with the LPC?
Yeah, I did... Yeah, like I have like a bit of a format, so maybe like a few days before my test, that's when I'll do the past papers. I don't do it until I feel like I would pass that paper. So, people do past papers all throughout the year. I don't do that. I save them all. And then like a few days before I'm going to do the exam, I do it. Because I feel like what's the point in doing a past paper if I haven't revised everything?
So what's your learning style? Did you do revision class? Because the books are quite lengthy. Did you read the books first or did you read the books and highlight? Like, what is your technique?
I'm a bit OCD. So I have highlighters, which are colour coordinated with post-it notes. And then each subject in that topic has a colour. And then I will go through, like, for instance, in the textbook, I will tab that post-it of like what I need to turn to and write on it like, oh, this is about this is about this. And then I'll highlight in the same colour. Then I have like A4 card in colours and I will just, what's that? Is it called blurting where you write the topic? That's my thing. So then I'll like do the scribble around and then do all the arrows of the things that I remember. So I'm one of those, yeah. But the LPC, I think SQE as well is open book. LPC is open book. I think SQE is open book.
I saw some girl tabbing her book.
Yeah, because it's not about you don't know all the law. I don't know every single statute, but
I just mean like generally overview, like with your undergrad, with this, like what is the best?
Yeah, so I would say blurt it. I would say doing revision cards and then writing down the most important things from that topic on your revision cards. Then on your revision cards, if you've got a textbook, then I would write like the number. So I might have the most important topic and then I might write page 54. Then I would know, turn to page 54. It's got all in-depth stuff about it, all intricate details.
But because it's open book as well, a lot of people heavily rely on the fact that it's open book and they're going to have the book in front of them.
But but you can't though, because the book's about 500 pages.
So what did you do to like shorten that sort of, like you said, it's 500 pages. So
yeah, so literally post-it all the different areas and write on the post-its the area that it is. So if it's like, family law, if it's a non-molestation, I would write down page 465 non-molestation. I would tab that. Occupation order, I would tab that. Land law, I would tab that. Property, I would tab that. Then on my coloured card that I also bring in my open book.
Okay, you can bring it. Okay.
I would have like, what would I have? I would have the details of that topic specifically, but obviously you can't write everything on a note. So then I'd write the page number that it was, if you get what I mean.
Okay,
that's how I would do it. Yeah,
that's really good.
Yeah, and the one thing you need to bring into your exams is a calendar. I feel like no one knows that. You need to print off a calendar for the year. There's always questions about. I think it's more to do with tax and things like that. Okay. You will get questions on that, and you obviously don't have your phone. And obviously it's based off of whether I think it's April or whenever the cut-off point is.
Yeah, it's April. So I think, okay.
So they'll catch you out.
A tax year that I remember was the ending of one tax year 1 year was the 4th of April.
Yeah.
And I feel like it started on the 11th of April. 7th of April.
We'll go you because
I know one of them. I should know this.
Yeah.
I should know.
But yeah, calendar is always good. Because you can see what days of the week. Even for instance, with civil litigation, you have deemed service, right? So if I send something to you in the post, then it's classed as served after about 2 days. So on your calendar, if they ask you a question on service, how would you know which day it is if you don't know which day the weekend is? That's easy 2 marks lost just because you don't know the day of the week that it is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so
come to me for fun tips.
Oh yeah, make sure you do.
Fun tips with me. You wouldn't think about it, but those questions are in there. My lecturer helped me with that, and she was like, "Look, like that's the sort of thing that comes up." But if you don't have, I've heard people say, "No, I never even knew." Then when the question come up, they're trying to think in their brain. Okay, July has this many days. June has this many days. It's this date. That's wasting time. You don't have time.
What can you bring into the exam? Well, it might be different for the SQ.
Yeah, it might be different.
But what could you bring in for your exam?
I think if it was like solicitors' accounts, you can have a calculator, pencil, rubber, pen, and your book, and you can always bring in your SRA code of conduct. And then for the other ones, I think it was everything apart from your calculator. So your book, literally, it's you and your book.
So basically, eat, breathe, and sleep for books. But how did you manage to balance that with working a full-time? Full-time duties, and then you got work that you might have to do out of hours
you just have to, if you want to be a lawyer, you just have to learn how to manage everything. I can't sit here and say that it wasn't hard, because it is hard. You have to stay up late nights. You have to think, I've also got to work on the side. You just have to manage it. You have to find a way to manage it for yourself.
Do you feel like, random question, but do you feel like working from home culture that's been introduced has had a negative impact on your trainee journey? And I explain why I said that. I had a conversation with a barrister, and there were new barristers coming in, but because everyone works at home, he was saying that the younger barristers, there's no way for them to meet the older barristers and learn under them. So do you feel like that working from home as a trainee, there's been a bit of a disadvantage of someone that maybe was a trainee maybe before COVID and the working from home culture?
In my firm, we don't have work from home. Okay. So we are in every day of the week. The only time I work from home is if I personally request it because I can't make it, or I've gone to court and then I don't really want to go to the office before I come home. So I feel like for me, I didn't really suffer in that way. But if I did, then because you bounce off of each other. If I don't know everything, and I feel like it's one of those jobs where I need to be able to speak to a solicitor there and then and say, what do you think about this? I can't wait to ring you, wait for you to pick up, or wait for you to book me into a Zoom meeting so that I can get the advice that I need. Okay. So, I do think it can be negative. But then again, work-life balance.
But do you know what it is? I do like to work from home because I work from home sometimes. But in a trainee position, I could understand why this wouldn't be working from home.
Yeah, it would be hard.
It's hard because you're meant to learn, and you learn from the people that have had more experience. And if they're at home...
Exactly.
Because you have the conversations in the toilet. Or you
have exactly,
the toilet conversation.
Exactly.
You have the toilet conversations. You have the lift conversations, the lunches, everyone, it brings them back into the office when you're offering free lunch. But I do understand why people want to work from home, because it's cheaper. Of course, yeah, it's cheaper.
Season and ticket, it's less time consuming.
Driving.
Not having to drive in. It takes me so long to get into work. But then once I'm in work, I do like the being able to bounce off of each other. That is the good thing about being in the office.
Do you drive in or do you take train?
I drive in.
Why not train?
I just can't be arsed. I just cannot be bothered with the train. I used to get on the train, and then for any reason the train's not working, or trees falling in the track.
Oh, that happened to me one time, and I had to go from Colchester to Chelmsford. So no, we got stopped in Chelmsford.
Yeah.
And I was going back to London, and I had to get a bus from Chelmsford to Basildon.
Oh really? Was it at the 100? It takes like an hour. Yeah, it's long.
I was sitting there. I didn't know. I was in the middle of Woodland. And then obviously, because I knew everyone was getting off at the last stop, and the guy kind of boxed me in. I said to him, no, I need to get off because I don't want to be the first person at the door because I was in a rush.
Yeah,
and I was trying to run to get my next train. It was so long.
Yeah.
It was so long.
Traffic is long as well, though. When I drive in, it took me like over 3 hours to get to work the other day. Sometimes it can be bad, but then sometimes it's all right. But either way, I'd rather that than standing waiting for my train.
But it's the comfortability, because when you're on the train, sometimes there's no seats.
Exactly. The standing up. I can't do that. After a long day, I feel like I'm going to faint. I literally had to carry snacks in my bag because I'll just get on the train and be like, wow, I've realised I've not eaten. Now I've got this whole long journey to go on.
Do you drive to court or do you take public transport to court?
I drive to court.
Do you get reimbursed for that?
Yes.
Okay.
So you get reimbursed by your firm because even legal aid will pay your travel if you do legal aid cases. Or if you've got a nice firm, my firm will pretty much reimburse you anyways.
What's your view on legal aid?
Legal aid's good. I feel like the only thing is a lot of lawyers don't want to do legal aid anymore because of the restrictions they put on you. So with a normal, a private paying client, I don't have to stick to certain things for my file once I bill it. But with a legal aid client, there's all these extra things which, to be honest, just make my life a whole lot harder, but I'm doing the same job. So a lot of lawyers now don't want to do legal aid. Do
you feel that some people that provide legal aid don't represent their clients as well as someone that is paying them?
No. I don't. I get that a lot, I've had people, I've told them something that they don't like and they'll say, just because I'm a legal aid client, doesn't mean you can treat me like that. And it's like, I don't think that's the case because as a solicitor, you have to follow the SRA code of conduct. I'm not going to treat someone in a certain type of way because my money is coming from the government more than my money coming from you, because if I didn't want to do the case, I just wouldn't do it. So I don't think that's the case, but I do feel like legal aid clients do feel like that because, for instance, I've got a legal aid client and I was trying to tell him that he's missed numerous appointments with an expert, and these appointments cost over £1,000. And obviously I've got frustration because he doesn't see that him missing an appointment and just being like, oh yeah, I can't make it today, rebook it in. That's £1,000 of everybody else's money that we're paying in taxes. Mm-hmm. So I do get where obviously we can be a bit more come on, what are you doing? Because a private paying client wouldn't do that. Because that's your money.
Time is money.
Time is money. But when people aren't paying for things,
they don't think about the cost.
They don't think about the cost. For instance, I've got clients that can't speak English and I have to book translators and they'll just say, no, I can't make it. You have to book it in for the next day. And it's so we've just put £200 down the drain because you can't make it. So I understand the frustration from both sides.
Do you feel like legal aid needs to be reformed or?
Yeah, I do think it needs reform. I think they're going through reform right now, but I do think the way that it works does need some sort of reform. And
what sort of reform do you think it needs?
First of all, I think they need to stop the cutbacks in terms of what you get from a legal aid case in comparison to the amount of work that you do.
Because you can't get legal aid with family anymore, can you?
You can.
Can you?
Yeah, you can. So it works. Different firms have franchises. So you just have to have a certificate and a contract with that legal aid agency for you to be able to offer it. So we don't offer legal aid in immigration, but another firm might offer it in immigration. So yeah, this...
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it can be different. Obviously, there's some things that you definitely can't get it for. But yeah.
What can you get legal aid for?
I think one of them is, for instance, so imagine two parents. Mm-hmm. If somebody takes you to court for, you can't take that other parent to court for not seeing their child under legal aid. Do you get what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
You can't do that. But if somebody else takes you to court and there's been domestic violence, then you can get legal aid as the respondent, not the applicant.
So do you think so I see a lot of videos when it says that they have a court order to see their child.
Yeah.
The other parent doesn't fulfill that court order. Do you think the parent in question that is refusing to, uphold that order, do you think that they should face some prison time, or do you think there should be consequences for that action?
It depends on the circumstances, because How difficult must it be to be, I'm just in this scenario saying, like, say for a mother, and you've got someone that you know is not being a good father, and maybe they're not fulfilling the child and all their needs. You get taken to court, and by someone who doesn't even know you is trying to say that that father should have your child every single weekend of the month overnight. Like, it's going to be hard to accept, isn't it? It's going to be, so I just feel like, I don't know, it's a sticky family. That's what I mean.
If it was like, okay, let's just take out domestic violence out of the situation.
Yeah.
Let's just to put it out there, like one of the parents, I'm not going to say it's the mum, I'm not going to say
the father,
but I'm just going to say either or, whichever side it is. Let's just say one of the parents or the carer is just doing it for malicious intentions.
Yeah, then...
Do you think there should be consequences with their actions?
Yeah, I do.
But do you feel like it could get blurred because domestic people that are facing domestic violence, if they're like you just said, they're stopping their child from seeing that particular parent, and then now they can face like consequences against it. Do you think that could be like unfair as well? Like either or, someone's.
What do I think? If domestic abuse is involved, or if domestic abuse is not involved?
If it is involved,
then no, I don't think that. It depends, because was they domestic? Because you have to decide, are you the type of person that thinks if somebody was abusive towards you but not abusive towards your child, are you right?
Gonna want them to have them.
Yeah, what do you do?
I just feel like with law, it's just...
What do you actually do? Because if somebody has been, for instance, beating you up, but then they've never laid a hand on your child, then it's a bit blurred, isn't it? You can't blame, I think, the person that's been abused to think, oh, hold on a second, they're not exactly a good parent, but then they haven't shown that they're not a good parent. They just are not nice towards you.
Yeah.
So I think there should be consequences, but I think it's a sticky
situation.
It's a sticky situation.
The wrong person maybe
could be punished for it. Yeah. But I do see alienation quite a lot with parents. Like, they, just because that's what I have to say to people, just because your relationship didn't work out doesn't mean that a child shouldn't have two parents. It doesn't mean that. And the courts are reluctant to stop contact anyways.
Some people say that the courts favour the mother. Do you think that's true?
No, I don't think that's true. I hear that a lot as well. Oh, it's because it's the mother, da 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 da. But at the end of the day, the mother, it's undeniable, carries the child, has the child, and in most cases is that primary caregiver. Not because the father doesn't want to, but because there's certain things that a mother can do and a dad cannot. So at the end of the day, they have a rule anyways. One of the factors is that when a child under a certain age, I think it's like under 7, the care that they need to get, they need their mother around them. So yeah, you could say favoritism in that part, but if you could show to the contrary that, you know, it's the dad that provides that care, then fair enough. But in most cases, it is the mum.
So would you say one thing when it comes to the law, you just got to have, you have to back your chat.
Yeah.
You got to have the evidence to support that. Yeah. You can't just say, oh, the mum doesn't do that. It's me that's it.
It's me that does everything. So show that then. Show that it's you that does everything, because a court, as I said, like, they're reluctant to stop contact with either parent. It has to be something really, really bad for them to say, no, they're not seeing that parent at all, or whatever it is. Like, and a father I see it a lot, and I have to put it in the mother-father scenario. You can't just say, oh, I do everything. She doesn't do everything. What's everything? Yeah, what's everything? Show us what everything is. So, yeah, I don't think they favour mothers, no. But I can see where it might look like that.
They favour mothers. Because I could, like you said, it's the mum that does the caring. It's the mum that, you know, sometimes in some situations.
But in most, but we can be honest though, in most situations, even when there's a mother and a father together, there's certain things that I feel like the mother, just as a role maternally, that's your role. It's okay to say that, I feel like.
Yeah, I think, there are men. I think there are men and female roles within a household, within in general.
Exactly.
But, yeah, I think there's certain things that, you know.
Yeah, just like the nurturing element. Because let's be real, it's unusual when you do have it that it's the father that's providing that and it's the mother that's not. I'm not saying it doesn't ever happen, but it's more like, oh, like, it's like, for instance, when you see someone, it's like, oh, like, Like, where's the mum kind of thing? Do you know what I mean? You get that. Where's the mum?
It's happened a few times. I have like a lot of male friends. This has happened to them a few times. And I worked in like a predominantly male area. And I remember and one of the jobs I did was all men, basically. Yeah. And I remember one of them said, I got to leave early to take my son to the dentist. And the manager just sat around and said, why can't the mum do? Where's the mum?
Exactly.
But it's just, like...
It shouldn't be like that.
It shouldn't be like that. I think the nurturing aspect is when they're babies, the mum feeds them, got to wake up, you know. I get why men wouldn't really have an input. But to say that to an employee that is trying to help out, like, you know, because a lot of women do go through it by themselves. They'll be in a relationship, they'll be married, and they're basically single parents. And for a man to then turn around, and some people may say, but you shouldn't be praising men for doing what they should be doing. But society does look down on either parents in different ways. They look down on the mum. Like,
they do.
If you're calling sick, they look down on you. If you're going to leave work early and you're a man, why can't the mum do it?
Exactly.
But then the mum's using up all her sick days, using up all her holidays.
Exactly.
And it isn't.
And I do think it's built in to be unfair, because if you look at maternity and paternity, like leave, it's ridiculous. I think men get like 3 weeks. It might even be less, which is ridiculous.
I think before it was a week.
So that shows that in society, the mother's expected to be the one with the child. So
it's the expectation.
It's the expectation. So when that's been the way, you can't then say, like everyone favours the mother.
Okay. So my next question: if the legal world had a theme song, what would it be?
Oh gosh, this question.
What would it be?
It'd have to be Messy by Lola Young. You know, it's like, 'cause I'm too messy.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm too clean. Yeah, it'd be that song.
I would just think I feel like the theme song would be something like Law and Order.
I knew you was going to say like,
because like, you're walking
I knew you was going to say that.
I say that. Do you know what I'm saying? You don't know what to expect. You can see on paper a case. Okay, fine. You go to court. Like, I remember, so when I did my work experience at Westminster Magistrate Court, and there was a case of domestic abuse. The son was abusing the mum.
Oh gosh, okay, I've seen
Right.
Yeah.
So the courts, they were there, and then the mum just walks in. And then I remember they were whispering there saying, I think there was an order where they couldn't communicate or something like that. Yeah. And they were like, they were looking at the mum and they were looking at him and they were like, they're not meant to be. And I think they interacted.
Yeah.
They even interacted. That's even how bad it was. I think she even hugged him. And I was just like,
it's weird.
Very weird.
Yeah, it's very, very strange.
Like, it's so strange. And it's not victim blaming. Don't think I'm a victim. No. But it was it was so unexpected because she didn't have to come and she came and they were like, oh.
It's weird. It's family dynamics are just odd.
It's very
Law and Order.
But that's why I said the Law and Order one. But the Messy one does.
Because you're thinking about it, I feel like, in the sense of if you had a backing track, and I am thinking about it in the sense of like the song. So like, I feel like you think that Lawyers is like this clean aesthetic.
No, it's not.
But it's kind of messy
ghetto.
out there.
It's the ghetto.
Trenches.
It's the ghetto.
So yeah, that would probably be it.
So why did you want to become a solicitor, not a barrister?
I did want to become a barrister, and then I just changed my mind because I saw what they actually do. Like, I want a work-life balance. They have work-life balance, but I feel like it's a lot.
They're self-employed.
Yeah, and as well, I can give a case the day before. You have to read the whole bundle and be in court by 10 a.m. and execute that case well. That is on you to do that. Whereas a solicitor, I know the client well, so you could ask me any intricate detail and I would know.
So you build like a
relationship.
Yeah, you build a
rapport together. So yeah, whereas a barrister, I think I still want to do advocacy. So as a solicitor, you can do higher rights, which means that you can basically, they're closing the gap, I feel like. You can do the same sort of things that a barrister can do, but it's just you also get to obviously have your role as a solicitor. So it depends what sort of person you want to be, what sort of life you want to have. I think work-life balance for me I would rather.
I feel like everyone wants work-life balance.
100%, yeah. But it just would literally just have me crippling with anxiety if I got a case. Sometimes the way that I have to send cases the night before or whatever, you've got to read an 800-page bundle and you've got to be in court. And if you don't execute my case well, I'm going to be like, well, why did you do the case?
How do you tackle that big, massive reading and you got to do the night before? What do you do?
What, the barristers?
No, I mean, do you have to read like...
No, that's the barristers. So I'm giving... Yeah.
I thought you...
Yeah, I'm giving to them. For me, it's not really... I mean, I have things like that where I have to step in. I might get a care proceedings case and they need someone at the meeting like the next day, but I'm expected not to...
Know everything.
But
what do you do to make sure you know at least the basics?
I am like a skim reader. I can read like multiple lines at once. Like I've always read books and things like that. So I can just look and then just keep reading. So
do you make skim read? Do you make notes on the side of something like something that you need to remember, like their name or, you know?
I always remember then. I kind of just read because when you know the story about someone,
it sticks you.
It sticks. Yeah, I won't need to write down anything in particular. Like the only thing I need to write down is what the other party might ask me about my client. So for instance, where are they living at the moment in particular? Like how far is that from in care where the child is?
Okay. This leads on to my next question. How do you personally manage work-life balance in the legal field?
I manage it quite well, to be honest. I think just not be tired. I think I book social things in weeks in advance. That's how I am on my calendar on my phone. I book everything in weeks in advance. So I know like, I'm going to have a long week, but I've also got to do this at the weekend. I always make sure that I have social events booked in. Otherwise, you just won't have a social life. You'll just work the whole weekend.
Have you tried Pilates yet?
Yeah, I love Pilates. I went to a class actually once for my sister and yeah, Pilates is good. It's hard work. Very much hard work, but like I like yoga at the moment.
Okay.
I'm into yoga.
My friend did Pilates the other day and she was telling me about it, but I haven't had the chance to.
It's hard work.
Pilates. Yeah, she didn't realise. She was like,
it's
a breeze? It was so hard. I was like, haven't you seen the video?
Yeah, like, it's not a breeze at all.
Stretch.
Like, yeah, them girls are toned. Like, they are toned. They've got it going on. So, yeah, I need to be a Pilates babe this 2025.
And also, do you have any hobbies?
Yeah, I do pole dancing, like pole fitness.
Do you know what? I wanted to do that, and my friend side-eyed me about it.
Did she?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I was just like,
no, do
okay,
it.
maybe. No, but at the time, wasn't that young, but it wasn't really, you know, out there that people were doing it. I was meant to join the pole dancing society at my uni, but I didn't do it.
I love it.
It's like it's meant to help with your core and everything.
It helps with your core. I feel like I'm so toned from that. Your strength, your confidence, like just doing fitness that's not just going to the gym. Like gym can be boring.
I want to do karate.
Okay. Well, you
If I tell you the reason why I want to do it, we won't say that on camera. I'll tell you after.
Right. I'm intrigued to know why you're like, I want to do karate.
Yeah,
I thought mine was wild. I tried that when I was younger. It's kind of sick.
My mum never allowed me to do it.
Why?
She just said no.
Oh my gosh, you wild card. Like, would you just start?
Yeah, that's what she said. Yeah.
Oh wow,
I
dangerous.
did boxing though.
Did you?
For a bit. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm getting like there's a pattern of like just there's a pattern here.
Because you know what? Yeah, I use bacon to release my stress, and then guess what? I put on the weight. So what's the point? So I need something. I actually need something.
You need something that's not like
got food related, because I just literally, it's so bad that my mum gets so annoyed because there was so many cakes in the house and she said they need to go.
It's difficult.
So I'll be calling up my friends and people would just come to the house at all times just to get cakes. I gave it to my neighbours. I was like, I see someone, I gave it to my Amazon delivery driver once.
Really?
I tried to offer it off to one of the Royal Mail workers. I was trying to.
If people come and do deliveries at your door, they probably all like scrabbling to do your deliveries. They're like, no, I want to go there. I want to go there.
I said, do you want to try it? I make cakes. Here you go. Or when I used to work in my old job, I would just come with a big box and say, "Here." And they're drivers, so they took it. It was gone. I was like, all worried I wasn't going to go, and it goes. And then I see some of the drivers be like, "Oh, I'm making this. Do you want some tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Yeah, bring it in." Wrapped up, we'll give it to them.
Love
I just shift in it.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking for something like, I want to take up knitting, hobbycraft.
Do you know what? I used to be able to. I want to try knitting again because I used to knit. I actually used to knit, but I don't know if I've got the formation anymore.
I want to knit.
What I mean?
Hobbycraft does it for like £30.
I know, but I want to crochet myself.
And they've got
bad
crochet.
boy 2-piece.
They got I know.
Imagine crocheting your own bad boy 2-piece. Go, yeah. Amazing.
You know, that's one of the reasons why I want to do this.
That's the dream.
And I want to do the sewing machine as well because I want to sew. Like I used to like sewing. So sometimes I feel like I'll have a hole in my leggings or I have a hole in my jacket. And you know, it's exactly like
you want to do it as a functional thing.
I just when I'm going out and I look, because when it goes in the washing, there's a hole. And I'm just like, oh, I don't need a hole. Like, do you know how I'm just like sewing up my sock?
Yeah.
I just get the needle, just thread the needle, sew it up. My jacket, like my jacket has a hole in it. I don't need to take it. I could take it to the laundrette, but I can sew it myself.
Yeah. It's a functional skill. It's a skill everybody needs.
But that's what I feel like I need for my downtime because...
Take something up, honestly.
It's hard.
It is hard, but you just have to push yourself to...
It's so hard. I've got to write my dissertation. I've got to do so many things.
You have a lot going on. You are busy.
You won't even want to know the half of the things that I've got on. But I've got a lot going on. And I feel like I need to keep busy.
Yeah, but that's a good thing, though. I like to keep busy.
But I feel like that's what you got to do because you got to have your mind constantly working. Because I feel like when your mind's not working, especially when you're in a legal field, you become sloppy a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I agree with that.
And constantly need to be thinking. I constantly need to be reading. Even if I just read like a chapter a day or something, or, you know, find a way. Because you will turn sloppy. Like I turned sloppy during the whole summer. Because
you're not really doing...
And I don't understand why people do. Is it Sudoku?
Oh my gosh, my mum does that. We started that again recently.
I tried
done it in years.
I've never played it before.
Sitting there, she was like, "Come in, like let's do it again because it's the column. It's the columns." Oh my gosh, try it.
I've done it once.
Hard.
Like only recently.
That's
I think last year I'd done it for the first time. I never picked up again.
Oh,
but like
it's a bad experience.
No, not a bad experience. I just didn't have the time. Like I liked it. I was like, oh my gosh, is this what it was? Before when I was younger, I used to be so anti, but like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But I was like, now I understand that I need to like engage
your brain.
You got to engage your brain. And I was playing, you know, the iPhone games. So even those, I was playing it with one of my friends. He beat me multiple times. I never want to get. I stopped playing games with him because he was winning all the time, and I feel like he was getting bored because.
It's not fun anymore.
It wasn't fun.
Yeah.
We did play, what was the one? Was it, is it Scrabble?
Scrabble, yeah.
Yeah, Scrabble. No, but it's called something else on there. It's like Scrabble, it wasn't. So you got a time limit, you just pick the words, and he got more words than me multiple times.
Oh.
Yeah, it was so bad. I felt so bad.
He's like, come on, this is easy now.
This is, like, so I feel like, yeah, you got to engage. You
have to engage your brain, keep helping yourself be creative and think of new ideas and always be on the ball. Like I have a bit of a problem though with not being able to give myself downtime because generally I struggle with not doing anything. I'll struggle to stay in and not do anything.
Do you deal with procrastination?
Yeah.
Do you procrastinate a lot?
No, not really.
Do you feel like, did you procrastinate when you was doing your degree?
But it depends to what degree, like to what extent you mean procrastination. Because...
Okay, so I explain it like this. So I find that when you're studying, you're more likely to procrastinate than when you're in actually work and you're working. You're not really gonna procrastinate at work.
Yeah.
The level that you would procrastinate in your undergrad. Like,
okay, yeah.
Do you feel like? Do you feel like because you're gonna be attentive and do what you need to do and finish because you got deadlines, you got tasks to do. You're gonna do it more than opposed to doing your readings for.
That's why you should give yourself some breathing space. Like to help procrastination, I would take some time. So I might do work for an hour and then for 10 minutes, I'm going to have my phone and I'm going to eat snacks and then I'll go back to work. And I feel like that 10 minutes would enable me to be proactive for the full 60 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Instead of being like, I'm going to do work from 12 till 12 and I'm not going to take no breaks. That's just, you're going to procrastinate more.
And just a random question again. Why did you start TikTok?
Do you know what? If you like on a personal level, I would not think that I would do TikTok because Because I don't really like, I've never really thought that I would do social media like that. But yeah, I did it really because my sister, my older sister, she's the one who was like, do TikTok, do TikTok, do TikTok, do TikTok. So I just thought, all right, I'll do it for a month. That was the plan. Let me see, I'll do it for a month, see if I can be like active on it consistently. And then it just...
You came up on my For You page a couple of times.
Did I? And that just stunned me.
I can't remember the video off the top of my head, but I remember seeing
what
you talking.
Video was
I
that?
can't remember, but I remember. I think he was talking about one of the guys that you got. Did he run? No, did he run away? He did something. It was a man.
I mean, it would make sense.
In my head, I just thought he was just a bald-headed, hard guy looking. I don't know. I just imagined.
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
He did something, and you was like, you was talking about. I can't remember. You came up. And then I saw like little things.
Yeah,
because I do law. I said, oh, okay, I liked it, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I finally decided to message you. I was like, oh, no, do you know, I don't want a podcast.
Yeah.
So you can have a little insight of what you do. But I think a couple of the stories that you were saying, I saw it a few times.
Mm-hmm.
So your presence is...
That's good that my presence is actually... I'm actually active on there. No, I do actually enjoy TikTok now. I love that. I love like the little community, and I love that people actually love what I have to say. You know, when you sit there in the moment and you just think, oh, so what I have to say is actually interesting, or somebody wouldn't know that, and then you have to think back to when you didn't know certain sorts of things. I never really saw a podcast like this when I was like doing law, so it's very good that you're doing something like this. And I never saw anybody like me. I still don't really see anybody like me. Yeah. It's always like lawyers, they're just in this niche and they're just well put together, and they talk in a certain type of way. And I've had so many clients say like, I'm so glad that you don't change yourself just because you do law.
Yeah, because you know what it is, yeah. So I always say to people, you need to know how to talk. You need to know how to talk from the streets. And you need to know how to talk corporate. You cannot go in a corporate environment and speak in a street way.
In a street way, yeah.
But you can go in a corporate environment when you're dealing with certain clients to make them feel a bit more comfortable, and they can open up to you because you're not uppity or just trying to be like you're better than them, and they can see that that's not you.
Exactly.
And you can just have a normal conversation with them and be nice.
Exactly. And be you.
Be nice.
Be you. I feel like there's no lawyers really that I can like... Okay, obviously with lawyers, they're not really in like the fame or like the limelight because it's more about like your client, but just being you, I couldn't really name anyone that I could see and they're like being themselves. I know a lot about their personality. I know a lot about what they do outside of pole, because even dancing, like doing pole dancing, I was a bit scared to post something like that because I didn't know how that would be received. But then I feel like that actually elevated my page because people was like, oh, okay, so she does something else outside of just being a lawyer.
Yeah, could you feel like the corporate girly aesthetic?
Yeah. Oh,
it's so...
If you're looking for that aesthetic, don't come to my page. Because
the corporate girly aesthetic, yeah. Someone said something to me about it and they're like, oh, I want my corporate... A corporate, all of that. And I'm just thinking, nah, corporate isn't...
Just be you. Like, why have we all got to be the same?
Corporate is 9 to 5. And that's it. It's not. Yeah. Like, a lot of... Like I said, you got to constantly be upskilling yourself. Look at cyber. Look at data protection. You got to constantly be You're not just your 9 to 5. You got to be doing after the 5. You got to be the best of the best, especially if you're on a grad scheme, especially if you're on a training contract. You're permanent, but you're not permanent until you pass those exams.
Exactly.
If you don't pass those exams...
Exactly. It's so true.
But the corporate girly aesthetic, it can be detriment to a lot of people's mental health if they feel like they don't meet that aesthetic.
Absolutely, because even when I'm on TikTok, and obviously I've seen a lot of TikTokers now, that aesthetic is just like, I'm just like, I don't know where... Obviously, to a certain extent, maybe you could say that that's the lifestyle that I live. I will accept that. But I just feel like deep down, when these people go home, people on the other ends of the screens, I don't think would know that that's not really That's not really their life. The packed lunch, the taking in your little Stanley bottle, then sitting at the desk and typing up your case notes, and then putting down your well put together bag that has all providers in it. Like, it's not
dealing with members of the public or client.
Yeah.
They will test you sometimes.
Sometimes I'm going in raggo. Sometimes I'm going in, I've got a messy bun and it's been a hard day.
When I'm in my current job.
Yeah.
Like, I had something to do at 6 that day because I finished at 5. I had something to do at 6. I said, I can't, I didn't want to speak to the person. I said, you know what, can we reschedule to another day?
Yeah.
Because that shift was the ghetto.
Exactly.
And like...
And it's like, the videos I see just make me laugh. Like, even, I had my long day. I did 7 to 7. Then I got the train back and I cooked this extravagant steak with green beans.
Oh, no, I'm the type of person to do that.
No, but that took her 3 hours. And then you homemade your dessert. And then after that, I read my book and I drank out of my well-nurtured Stanley next to my Firstly, you didn't do that. Firstly, you might have cooked the steak, but there was all of this like, and then
reading the book. No,
you read the book.
No,
and then I tucked into bed and I watched Love Island, and then after that I did my case notes for the next day, and that was a wrap, guys. And then I woke up at 5 a.m. Like, I tried to wake up at 5 a.m. You don't do that every single day. You're lying.
I tried to wake up at 5 a.m. and hit the gym. Right?
Yeah, but try is the main word. God loves a trier.
My alarm's 5 a.m. I'm sneezing.
Exactly. And exactly. I saw a girl on there. I'd only set one alarm in 2025 because I've read that gets me up better. It's like, babe, I know you have a 7 o'clock, a 7:10, a 7:15.
I have everything.
You need gaps. There's no one that's just like, yeah, rise and shine.
I have an alarm to remind me to take my break.
You're like me then. Everyone in my family laughs about me.
Because
I'm an alarm queen.
They keep changing the times I can go in my breaks, not my lunch.
Do you have a time?
So basically, we have our lunch break because we have a lunch break time. But because we work on the screens, we have a 10-minute breaks. We have 20 minutes a day to look away from the screen, and they split it 10 in the morning and then 10 for the afternoon. Okay. I never take those breaks.
Yeah.
Because I forget.
Yeah.
I take my lunch.
Of course, we was never missing lunch.
I would never. But you know what? I could miss lunch if I'm working in the office because I can eat on my table.
Desk, yeah.
So it was like, I like my job.
Yeah,
I actually do, but it's just like the stress management and learning from a different environment that I was there's 2 different levels of stress, and in the job that I do, it can be kind of stressful. There's a lot of, oh my gosh, I don't know, I have to take a lot of judgment calls. Sometimes I phone a friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, the corporate girly aesthetic, like when you look at your take home salary, some people will be like, they be flexing.
The take home.
25k and 27k.
Yeah, come with me is...
I be driving a nice Audi.
That's what makes me laugh as well, because it makes everyone feel like that's what they should be doing. Like,
I felt like that as well. Like, I could see certain training contracts and they were like 90k.
Yeah, it's not always...
No, but it's 90k, but you gotta work for that 90k.
Yeah, they have sleeping pods.
Yeah, like you're working for that money.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'd rather do it young.
Yeah. Of course, I'd rather do it before I have kids.
Definitely.
Like, I'd rather do it. But that's why I need to grind now, because by the time I have kids...
You can settle. And I say to people now, grind now.
Yeah.
Because I've seen, like, some people say in your 20s, between your early 20s to your 30s, you gotta be, no sleep, basically.
Yeah, be grinding. Yeah.
And it's just like, sometimes I want that Chanel bag. I did buy myself a Coach bag.
Yeah, but as you should, treat yourself.
No, but do you know what it is?
Treat yourself.
Treat myself within reason, in a sense whereby my whole month's salary on a Chanel bag.
Yeah. It's that's a bit silly.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I can afford a Chanel bag, but I can't afford the Chanel bag reasonably.
Yeah, if you can't buy it 3 times, don't buy it.
But that's the thing. The corporate girly aesthetic.
Oh no, it's wake up I
nearly fell trapped to the corporate girly aesthetic.
Did you?
But then what I did was I used it in a positive spin, in a sense whereby, so there's a few videos that I see and I said, okay, if I want that Chanel bag, if I want to drive that Audi, I worked at how much so when I look at advert, it's so weird, but I look at I put it on a take home calculator salary.
Okay, yeah.
And I put my deductions for my what's it called? For my student finance to pay back.
Yeah.
I'm on about 70 or 90 grand by now, and I haven't even finished.
Yeah.
But I'll put that deductions, and I say, okay, this is how much I get monthly.
Yeah.
Then I take away that I have a budgeting app because I like to budget.
Do you know what? What's that called? Because I need one.
Financially?
Okay,
It's
I
like
need
£39
one.
for the year.
Yeah.
And then when I was getting paid from my job, I would pay all my bills and stuff, and I would never have money at the end of the month. And I said, where's this money going? So then it will just, like, you break down, like, the things that you cannot move, that cannot change. So that would be like, if you pay
Your
rent,
bills,
the bills that you are fixed, and then they will break it down to, okay, do you have a sinking fund? I have a sinking fund.
Okay.
Then they'll break down to, like, I forgot the other category, but in that category, like, it's your food, it's your travel costs, because those can change.
Yeah,
those can change.
Vary,
They're not really, And then I have my going out fund.
Yeah.
I never had one before, so that's why I was struggling.
Oh,
so I have one now.
okay.
And then what it will do is it will show what's left over. So then it will be like an emergency fund. So then it will look at my income that I make for that month, and it'll be like, okay, you only spent £1,000 out of that income.
Okay.
And then this is what's left over.
Yeah.
And they have other things as well on the app.
I need to get something like that.
They have other things that my friend recommended it to me. They have other things where you can be like, oh, I want to save for, let's just say, a holiday. I want 20 grand or something, just something ridiculous. It'll tell you how many years
it will take you
to go there at the rate, and then it kind of puts into perspective of what you're actually looking for.
Yeah.
But I always say to people, budget. That's the whole reason why I started this podcast.
Yeah.
Because there was like you said, there was a gap. I didn't see things that fit me, and there wasn't a lot of things out there. So, for example, when I started my law degree, I knew what I was getting myself into, because I read what was on the page and where I could lead to, and I picked my options before I even started my degree.
Yeah, one of those.
And then some of my options changed. I changed it throughout. I picked my third year options last year. Okay. Like before the time, and then it changed, and I had to change again. And I looked at where I could get, and that's why I picked banking. I was always picking banking because it was so interesting. Like, people will say, and this is where it comes into the law. People will say, "Oh, I don't trust these banks like Monzo, Revolut, etc." But there was a time where the Revolut, I don't think right now, they're not actually a bank. They're not regulated
as a bank.
Yeah. So if I think it's £85,000 that FCS covers if something happens, and we had this discussion, and I asked my lecturer, I said, okay, so should we have different accounts? She's like, yeah, have different accounts, because that 85,000 you will get that back from each. I mean, who's really? I don't really see myself of having 85,000 in one account if it's not savings. But you utilize. When you learn the law, like I said, you can have loopholes. So I didn't know that Revolut doesn't cover your money. So if something goes wrong, your money's not safe. Monzo, your money is safe now. Because they are protected on the FCS. But you need to look for those things.
Of course, yeah. Which, and like someone who doesn't study law wouldn't know.
Like contracts, read your contract. We don't all read contracts. But
yeah, I do that word for word.
We should read our contracts, especially when it's something important. If it's like a phone contract, well, you should read your phone contract. Sometimes,
yeah, but they're mostly like clauses that are all the same anyway.
Oh yeah, but I got out of my phone contract. I said to them, I was paying £50 a month for a phone chip, and the guy said I can cancel any time. But it wasn't like that, and I've never used it. I was meant to switch over, and then I ended up not switching over.
Yeah.
So I was paying £50 a month, and I said to them, first take that off because I was told something wrong, and I said to them, well, the contract cannot really be enforced because I've paid, but I haven't used the service.
Yeah.
So how can you be charging me
for something that I haven't used? Yeah.
So that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I started throwing a bit legal jargon.
Yeah.
But it's like, I said to them, I think I said something along the lines of, I haven't fulfilled one side of the contract or something. I used the word and I got out of my contract.
Yeah.
And I got my missed payment taken off my credit file because that affects my credit score.
Yeah.
And see, I know how to approach situations now in the legal, but I wouldn't have been able to do that before. I was paying that £50 for like about a year or two.
Yes.
I saved money.
And so some people probably are still.
Yeah. But my next question, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Where do I see myself in 5 years? On a yacht. Double parked. Drinking each hand. Where do I see myself in 5 years? In law still, to be honest with you.
Not just professionally, just in
personally, as well.
Professionally, in your career.
Probably not in England. I would like to go abroad.
Do you know where you would like to go?
Yeah, probably the Caribbean.
Okay, why?
Yeah, because we're from there, so it feels like home when I go there.
Oh, where are you from?
Yeah, Barbados. But
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in Barbados.
What does she actually say before that?
She was telling the girl off.
Yeah.
And the girl was like,
this is not the
this is not the UK. You're in Barbados.
Yeah, so I'd probably be abroad.
Can you take your like qualifications over to Barbados? Have you checked?
You have to do a 6-month conversion, but with no exams. You just have to learn like their constitutional law. So yeah, you can convert, and obviously you can still work in another country, but also be a solicitor here. So you could have cases from here, but work there.
So how would you say if you had to represent a client in court? Well, actually, terms will change. You can do that by Zoom, no?
You can do it by Zoom. Okay. I have Zoom hearings all the time. The time, yeah.
Do you think
judges don't like them? The court doesn't like them because obviously they're trying to save their jobs, really, aren't they? Like,
because courts are closing down, aren't they?
Yeah, the more we can do without them, the more that there's not going to be scope to have so many. So, because to have a judge sitting all day is expensive.
Do you know what? This is actually a question. And I met a guy and he said this to me. He made a comment. He was like, at a networking event, he was like, oh, I'm doing this AI immigration ARC software lawyer thing. I'm coming, like, we're going to come for your job sort of thing. It's going to take away your job.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, you could ask instead of paying for a solicitor, this AI
you can ask AI.
Right.
But I don't think that'll ever work.
It won't.
Because you still need us.
Because there's a knowledge gap.
Yeah, exactly. AI is not going to have anything. And even with knowledge, that's what I say about law. You don't know how to use that knowledge in order to do what you need to do. You might know the statute, you might know the law, but you don't know how to utilize it in your favor. So,
do you think traditional law is changed? Like, do you think, so for example, like you said, judges are not sitting in courts anymore. Do you think,
since COVID.
Do you think it's changed for positive and negative?
Yeah, positive and negative, but which one do I think more?
Yeah, do you think, okay, let me word it better. So do you feel like the traditional way of how solicitors act or law in general is under attack with the use of AI, do you think there will be a decline sort of thing?
No, I don't know. Obviously, in some sense, because you've now got another mechanism that you can use to do something that I'm doing. But I think with law in particular, I don't think it would suffer as much as what other occupations, would.
But do you think there's a competition though, right there?
But then,
it's not up to par.
Yeah, it won't be up
to par. But there's some sort of competition. Like, for example, banks closing branches. They're trying to compete with online banks like Monzo, etc., and having online features and stuff like that.
But then with law, you're talking about justice, though.
But do you think they will try and like keep up in a sense whereby everyone has to be in office, no more working from home? We need to be in court all the time because technology is taking over. We don't.
Yeah, I think they'll. Yeah,
like like in that sort of aspect.
I think there'll be pushback for sure. Yeah, there'll be pushback, but I see that already. Like, judges are so mad if you want to have a remote attended hearing.
But why do people want remote attending?
Because it saves costs. Like, you've got to pay your solicitor for the day. You've also got to pay for them to go actually to court with you, which is more time. It saves costs. It saves time. I can log off of that hearing and log on to another. I haven't got to travel from Cambridge to Ipswich. Like, it's time, money. Makes so much more sense to do it remotely. But then at the same time, it is good to be in court for certain discussions. Like if it's a big final hearing or cross-examination, it's kind of hard to do that with, sometimes it echoes back on you, or if you've got a client that doesn't speak English, it's hard because you've got the translator and you and the client.
And what if like the signal's not good?
Exactly. I've had that before where the signal's not really good and then the judge just is angry because the signal's
Do you think
good.
I think judges have anger management issues, some of them?
I mean, absolutely, but they're all entitled, aren't they? Like, no. I mean, props to them. If I was a judge, I'd probably be a little bit entitled too, but it's...
No, I think a lot of jobs have some, like, I know this girl, she was sitting on a jury one time and she was like, the judge really was having a go at both sides of the barristers and was basically speaking to them like they were a child and instructing them.
Yeah, they'll have a go. They'll make you write letters if something goes wrong.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so like,
what?
For instance, if something goes, so like, they could put in the order, I want you to explain why you didn't do this in a letter dated to me and signed by this day.
They seem a bit controlling.
But they do though, aren't they? They're the judges.
But they can.
Their say goes. Their say goes. So yeah.
I think that just seems like a very, what's the right word? They seem like they love the power sometimes, and they just like to intimidation. That's it. They like to intimidate.
I mean, it probably could come across that way, and they're mostly like ex-lawyers, aren't they? But I feel like you have that aspect. You have a little bit of that strain in you as someone who's a lawyer anyways. Not intimidation, but I'm going to control the situation that I'm in. Like, you know how to kind of control that. So,
okay.
Yeah.
What laws do you think shouldn't change, and what laws do you think need some looking at?
Laws that I think shouldn't change. That's a hard question.
So, like, if you come across a case and you think in your head, you know what, this law should never change, this law should be in place. Have you ever had that feeling?
I think, I mean, it's a bit controversial, but you know, like no fault divorce now.
Mm-hmm.
So I do agree with that. I know that people say, oh, we're going to have more divorces and da 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 da. But at the end of the day, if someone wants to get divorced and someone wants to get divorced, I don't really see the idea of dragging each other through court, trying to say who was the worst person in that divorce, or it's your fault because there was infidelity. Like, I don't see the point in that. So I do think no fault divorce should keep the same.
And one law do you think should
change? Wait.
Which one?
Wait, no fault divorce, I said should stay the same.
And then which law do you think needs to change? That was it.
Needs to change. To think. Don't know if I can think. You know, when
like a law that you've looked at, or a case that you looked at and thinking, this law's not right, it should change. It needs to be modernised. The language is a bit too vague.
It's too vague. I'm not sure, you know. Probably something with domestic abuse. Because they're really like
hard.
Yeah, like how you can make findings on domestic abuse and stuff like that. I feel like it's still pretty like tight. It can be very obvious, but when it comes down to statute, you could easily get away with somebody saying, no, I didn't do it, kind of thing. So maybe something like that.
So if someone is identified as being abuser in a family case, do their parental rights, they still have their parental rights, don't they?
Yeah, they still have their parental rights, which is,
even though the police know,
even if a finding's been made, you would have to start like care proceedings for them not to have parental rights, which is shocking.
Do you think like a lot of local authorities are very supportive of those situations?
Depends on the local authority, because some local authorities I work with are really good and some are really sloppy.
Which area has the worst?
Oh gosh, she wants me to directly
I don't want you to out. I don't want you to don't name the borough, but would you say so firstly, I didn't even ask you this, what area do you cover?
Everywhere,
even London,
London and outside of, I cover like up to Wales.
Okay, so let's start with in London or outside London
is worse. In terms of local authority. Probably in London.
Okay.
What you exactly where?
No.
London.
Okay. North, east, south, or west? I have a fear of which one's the worst council, but go on. I want to see if we have the same idea.
I don't know. I have two.
Okay, say the two then.
It'll probably be east and it'll probably be south.
Oh, definitely south.
Oh, south was always getting south. You're never making it.
South was the worst.
South has to get drawn out at any point.
Do you know when I knew south was the worst?
Yeah.
I had a friend. She had a baby. She notified them. She had another baby. She notified them.
Yeah.
And then she also applied for something else.
Mm-hmm.
She's called them and they were like, oh, there's no record of you having both kids.
Oh, gosh.
There's no record of her having both kids.
Wow.
She put herself on the housing register or something like that. They didn't have, like, the online system doesn't work. And I know someone
to admit that as well.
No, they didn't know.
Oh.
I put the T and T link together because I saw someone else. They're like, oh, like, they were made homeless or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were like, I said, oh, so why didn't you apply for housing through the certain South London borough council? And
a certain one. Let's not call names.
Yeah, let's not call names. And he was like, oh, I did. And then I was like, okay, so what happened? They said, oh, they emailed me and said they never got my application, so they closed my account. So I said to him, what borough was it? Turns out it's the same borough that both of those two people were in.
So they're just slacking, yeah.
And she got to the end of the queue, been waiting hours to put the phone down on her. He answered the phone, hello, put the phone down.
Yeah, they do that.
And he knew what he was doing. And she was desperate.
Yeah. Local authority, they do that.
Okay. And then my next question, so no slander. East London, yeah.
East London be sloppy. East London, honestly, can be sloppy.
East London, yeah, so then my last two final questions.
Okay.
So what do you think about networking and LinkedIn?
Love. Networking is everything. Like, networking, I feel like if I had networked a lot sooner, then I would have been able to probably be in a position a lot sooner as well. Because getting to know people on a personal level, it's like, it's just so much more than knowing someone through a computer. So networking is everything. Network. What was the other one? LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is great. I never even really was on LinkedIn. And then my brother was like to me, ew, like, why is your LinkedIn not even active? And
I told people LinkedIn.
I was like, why are you ill with me? And he was just like,
LinkedIn.
He was like, if I went on your LinkedIn, I would just think you was dead. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I got a headshot.
Yeah. I need to get a professional shot, but I have worked on my LinkedIn. Like, I've made all my connections now. You know, when you get that 500 plus.
Yeah.
Ding.
I don't think I got it.
So I'm nearly there, and then I just need to start posting. It just feels awkward. Not awkward, but I'm learning to speak about work more. It's kind of that, like, growing up.
Yeah,
kind of.
I thought it was cringy.
Yeah, and then, why am I making a post? Oh, guys, just got my new job. Yeah, like, so everybody clap for me. Yeah. It's just weird.
Do you know what it is? Is maturing is realizing this is what you need to do in life.
If this is what you need to do to make that money, then this is what you need to do.
There's a guy that everyone talks about. I think his name's Bar or something like that. Anyway, someone was talking about him on TikTok. And he was like, he's just a LinkedIn warrior. He's so positive. Yeah. He's always bigging up people. Like, there's such a lovely guy. I haven't come across him before on LinkedIn, but I would love to come across him. Yeah. So it's like, there's some people that I've got on LinkedIn and I met in person and I've gone to them, like, oh, can I be on LinkedIn? Oh, we've got each other on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And it's just.
Yeah. I love LinkedIn.
So my final question, 3 top tips for aspiring solicitors.
Okay, so it would definitely have to be network. Go to all the events that you can find on Google pretty much and just get to know people. Another top tip, probably to just be resilient. Like, make sure that you're someone that can kind of put up with anything. Make sure you can make adaptations in your life for what you need. And yeah, just, I think resilient, when I even see other like podcasts and things like that, I hear everybody mention that advice, like, just to be resilient. And then the last one, probably to check in with yourself. Make sure that you don't have a set in stone thought of this is what my legal journey is going to be like, because it might not be that. For instance, with me, I wanted to be a barrister, but in actual fact, I've turned out to be a solicitor. So check in with yourself. Check in if you've done EU law, but now you're liking crime. Go with crime. Like, there's no end to it.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
I hope you enjoy the cupcake.
Yes.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
And being a solicitor. And I hope you decide what you really want to go into.
Yeah.
And you don't have any stressful clients.
I mean, I will, but thanks. Thanks for having me. And thanks. I'll be enjoying them with a tea later.
Okay.
So
I don't know how to make tea, but we can.
You don't know how to make tea?
I like herbal tea.
Yeah, but you don't know how to make a good, like, English breakfast tea?
No. I like hot chocolate.
All right. So do you want to know, like, the mechanism? Okay, so what you need to do is add the tea bag, add the sugar, 2 sugars always. Okay. Then you add the water, you let it brew, you like mix it around a little bit, 2 minutes exactly on the clock. Then you squeeze with the spoon and you add dash of milk, like a bit more than a builder's tea.
You're real Essex.
I'm a tea babe.
You're real Essex.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's not how you make your tea, then I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, I wasn't a tea babe. I used to tea bags to make letters look old and stuff. I like.
Oh, you was a history babe. Okay. I was scared of tea bags when I was young and girl. So fun fact about that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've gone off a little tangent, but please like, follow and subscribe, and also follow Saff. It's going to be on the bottom and it's going to be attached to your name as well.
Yeah.
Add her, watch her content. Her content is very good. She's come up, before I followed you came up on my For You page like 3-4 times.
I love that. Honestly, keep getting me out there, TikTok.
Yeah. And she has other content. She likes to go out to eat. So
yeah.
Eat. She's your girl. But thank you very much. Thank you for watching, and hope to see or hear from you again. Bye.
Thanks.